C7.5 Electrochemical cells. Answers to the questions, page 31 onwards. Question 2. Explain why the cell with magnesium and copper has the greatest voltage. It's because that's the greatest difference in reactivity of any of the metals. The greater the difference in reactivity, the greater the voltage produced. Which pair of metals produces the lowest voltage? We don't have anything from an experiment, so any two that are very close in reactivity will be appropriate for the answer here. So copper and lead, for instance. So therefore you can't list those in order of reactivity, but you could have put three metals in the correct order. Magnesium, iron, copper, for instance. If we complete the following sentence, the missing word is greater. The greater the difference in reactivity between two metals used as electrodes, the greater the voltage produced. What other factors, apart from two electrodes, might affect the voltage? The answer there is the electrolyte. It's the solution you put them in. For A, explain what is meant by a non-rechargeable battery. It's one where the reactants are used up and their reaction is not reversible. So the reaction stops, there is no more current flowing. Alkaline battery, how can we get the 1.5 volts for the cell up to 6 volts? We put 4 of them together in series, which will give us a total of 6 volts. Okay, explain why non-rechargeable battery eventually stops working. The reactants get used up. There is no more reaction. The reaction is not reversible, so you can't recharge it. Question 5. They've got an experiment here with 4 different metals all linked to magnesium. So each time this electrode is replaced with one of these metals, and the voltage in the voltmeter is then measured and recorded here, and an average is taken. Give 2 variables the student could control so that the investigation is a fair test. Importantly, it's the surface area of these electrodes that should remain the same, and the surface area in contact with the electrolyte, that is also important. The other factor that needs to be controlled is the electrolyte itself. Calculating the mean, nice and easy. Add the 3 numbers together. Divide by 3 gives us 2.10. Part C, magnesium is more reactive than the other 4 metals used by the student. Which metal is the least reactive? And explain your answer. Silver is the least because the greater the difference in reactivity, the greater the voltage. And as you can see here, silver gives the greatest voltage. And what is the order of reactivity of the metals? Magnesium, then zinc, then cobalt, then copper, then silver. And you can work that out because you've got the values here for the voltage produced. The bigger the difference in reactivity, the greater the voltage produced. So you place them in order using that information. Finally, chromium is between cobalt and zinc in reactivity, so it's just a maths question here. We take the average for zinc and the average for cobalt, add them together, divide by 2, gives us 1.86. So anything around 1.86, so between 1.8 and 1.9 will be fine.